Hey folks, how's it going? It's me, your favorite podcaster on the planet, Nav Walia, and I welcome you to another episode of QL ChitChat, your favorite go-to podcast made by your favorite host who is the next contender of becoming the Brown Santa Claus. I want to start this episode off by thanking every single one of you for the unbelievable and the continual support I have received on this podcast. Thank you. And I would greatly appreciate it if y'all can do me a small favor. As you may know, my podcast is available on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and YouTube. So, depending on whichever streaming platform you're using right now, I would greatly appreciate it if you could rate my show on that platform. If it's YouTube, give me a like and comment of what I should cover in the future episodes. If you're listening on Spotify, click that follow button, leave a comment or a suggestion underneath this episode. And if it's Apple Podcast, give me a rating there. And lastly, follow the Instagram page of this podcast, which is QL_ChitChat. On that Instagram page, I'll be posting clips throughout the week, trailer for future episodes, and the topics that I'll be covering in future episodes. So every single time a new episode is going to come up or a trailer gets dropped, you'll be first one to know. Hell, even DM me any memes or any suggestions you may have. I welcome it all. For today's episode, I got a special one for y'all. I'm delving into the topic of dating in our 20s. So for today, I have one of my oldest friends on this episode. He's the first guy I ever knew that had a genuine Greek god bod. Okay, he was the guy with 6-inch six-pack, and he looks like somebody who eats lean turkey for breakfast. It's my boy, Son. Son, how's it going, man?
Well, it's going well. Thank you. Thank you for that introduction. Definitely.
Dude, I mean it.
Definitely appreciate the compliment of the gains. Not ground turkey, though. I have egg whites.
You're an egg white kind of guy?
Yeah, I wake up and first thing I do every morning is slam a carton of egg whites, 50 grams of protein, and only 200 calories.
The breakfast of champions, eh?
Absolutely.
Bro, you still rocking the six-pack?
Not right now. I just had surgery a while ago. So I have a legit...
Wait, what do you have a surgery for?
I tore my pectoral muscle on my chest.
Dude.
Pec major tendon, clavicle tendon.
Okay, that's really wild, man. Was it super duper painful?
Yeah. Not at the exact second, but after the surgery, that was wild.
Did you tear it while working out, lifting and stuff, or?
Yeah, I was bench pressing.
That sucks, man. Crazy. I hope you recover fast. Recover soon.
Yeah, I hope so too, dude.
Do you have are you like me now? Do you have a 1-pack now?
No, I have like a 4-pack.
Dude, I'm still rocking the 1-pack, man. I heard girls like dad bods, and I don't want to be basic, and I want to be spectacular, so I got a granddad bod. So now girls don't call me daddy, they just call me papa. True story.
What you need is a father figure.
Dude, I didn't want to be a father figure. I became a grandfather figure. And you know what? Not working out, bro. No, not working out. I was like, people say people need more father figures. I want to one-up it. I became a granddaddy, and it's just not going well. It's not going well. But how was your day today, man? What did you do today?
Oh, yeah, that's kind of ironic. So I was on a date. I was on a date earlier. It's actually why I just start later.
Yeah.
Go on this date. First off, let me preface this. I was seeing this girl for a little bit. This isn't our first date. This is our third date, and we're hanging out last time, and we had made all these plans, and we were things were going good, and then I injured myself bench pressing, and she just absolutely ghosted. She was just oh, actually, I'm not really into dating that much right now. And I was like, oh, okay. And it's just yeah, I'm just going to take some me time. And that was maybe a week before my surgery and a week after my injury, when I was oh yeah, I might not be able to lift heavy again or do anything like that. And then she just ghosts me. Yeah, we stopped talking. I'm not pursuing, because she's oh, I'm taking a break from this. I'm okay. And then last week, she just phones me up. She's hey, are you in the mall? I'm no. Nice to hear from you. I'm alive. I didn't didn't die from surgery. You know, I'm still good. Everything's good. And yeah, she's like, oh, do you want to like hang out? Or are you seeing anyone? I'm like, okay, I guess we can go on. You want to do like brunch on the weekend? So this leads me to this brunch, right? So I'm already like, this person like pretty much just isn't that great already. And then I go out there. I'm in downtown. She's out at like this bordering like suburb, and I have to like drive out there, or she has to drive here. Naturally, I offer. I'll go. I'll head out there if you want to drive in. She's like, oh yeah, okay, awesome. Everything's going well. So then I drive down to Floyd's Diner. I'm going on this brunch date, and I arrived there in the parking lot at 10:30. Because as you do when you make plans. And out there, I don't sit in the parking lot, go inside, and I put my name on the list. I'm like, okay, well, must be running late. And then I'm like sitting there waiting by myself for like half an hour to get a table. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to message this girl. I'm like, it's been half an hour. We had plans to be here at 10:30. It's 11. And she's gives me this weird, so she's like, oh, I thought you meant the Floyd's Diner in James Bay. I'm like, no, I meant the Floyd's Diner down here. So I was coming out, just like, haha, I was just kidding. I'm like, oh, okay. Haha, you got me.
Yeah, good joke, bro.
Yeah. Or yeah, I'm like, okay, yeah, are you coming? She's like, yeah, sorry, I'm just getting up. I'm like, you're just getting up? Like, I was talking to you about this earlier. We're supposed to be meeting.
Yeah.
Like, okay. So now they're calling my name because I have the table, and there's this long ass lineup of like 20 people, and they're all angry. They're like, oh man, it's taking so long to get a seat. And I go in there and I take up a table, and I'm just sitting there by myself waiting for this girl who's just getting out of bed. I'm just sitting there, just like, yeah. Everyone's like, wonder if this guy's gonna eat any food. No, so actually,
and you didn't order yet, right? You can't order really until your date arrives, yeah.
Didn't order for a while, right? So after about 50 minutes, not 50 more minutes.
50 minutes?
20 more minutes of being there. 20 more minutes of being there. 50 minutes of waiting on her in total. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna order food. Because I got
you gotta fair, yeah.
I gotta move on with my day. And shows up, and she's like immediately just like, oh, so I wouldn't eat that. This doesn't look very good. I'm like, oh my god. I'm like waiting here, like you're complaining, and then there's like a whole bunch of people here that are just like lined up, wishing that they could be sitting at this table. Yeah, so that was quite the experience. We ordered food.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. Let's say we split the bill on that one.
Was there any like a drama or a little bit of like a weird eye thing, like weird sight when you were like, I guess we'll split the bill? Or was she like, no, it makes fucking sense? Like,
I almost think the waiter did me a favor there.
The waiter got the hint himself? Okay.
He already had the bill split because he didn't go back. It's not like he came over and left. He came with 2 separate bills already in hand.
Dude.
Ready
you know what? Shout out to that homie. He knows. He helped another homie out. He's like, nah, brother, you deserve better. It's crazy, man. But 50 minutes on our date, that's brutal. I feel like 30 minutes in, I feel like I would have just ordered. And like as soon as I was like, yeah, sorry you're late. Let's just do this another time. Like I'm done my meal. I would have just pieced. Do you think you're going to see her again?
Oh, yeah. I continue with the date. There's no real reason to like, cut ties. You just got to change around your priority list. It's crazy, man, what we live through.
Dude, what we live now, bro? What you live through? I don't date at all.
You thought that was a crazy dating story, bro? I'll tell you a crazy date that I've been on. So I would say one of the craziest dating experiences I've had in this city. I was just hanging out with my boys in my house, gaming. Okay. And I get a message just like, hey, do you want to be picked up? And I'm like, what? Like, I'm hanging out. I'm kind of doing something right now. No, she's like, oh, do you want to hang out with me like right now? I'm free today. And she's like this pretty attractive girl. I'm like, all right, sure, why not? Go meet this girl. She's going to be here in like a minute. She calls me and I get out and I wait on the street. And then she like pulls up in front of my apartment, misses like the parking spot, and then like backs in. And I'm like, okay, that's weird.
Not a good driver?
She's not a good driver. And I'm seeing some weird behavior.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay.
A little wild. Okay.
Yeah, she's a little wild. I'm like, okay, whatever. It's like, hop in. Let's go down to the beach. I want to show you my house. I'm like, okay. All right, sure. Why not, right? So we go, start driving. Okay, and then she just fucking hammers on the gas, right? And we're going in like This is like Beacon Hill Park, right? Like this is
Yeah, so
like
this is 30 km/h zone, yeah.
so we're reaching 100 between like stoplights because this girl's like trying to impress me with her like sweet driving or whatever, and I'm like, I just don't care. And I'm holding on to the holy shit out. Oh my god, what? What is happening right now? Okay, and then she's like, "You want to see my house in Oak Bay?" I'm like, "Okay, all right, like why not?" Okay, check it out. I'm just fucking gunning it. This is like right past the Terry Fox like monument, and we're going like
Yeah, Terry Fox Monument.
right. I'm like,
What? 100?
oh yeah. And she's like, she's absolutely pinning it. And she's like, yeah, talking about like how she used to race and like her car's like suited up, like she might be legit. So I'm like, not just like, holy fuck, let me out. But I'm also on a date. So I'm like, trying not to like, like be like,
scared and stuff. You're not.
like, so going to her house, no joke. She's like driving, I'm handing the steering wheel, gunning it. And then she's just like, do you want a sip of my roadie? And I'm like, what?
Wait, what's a roadie? Hold on. What the fuck is a roadie?
It's her mixed drink. This girl's sitting here with like this like drink hidden on the other side of her that she's like drinking and driving around. And I don't know whether we're actually on a booze cruise. I literally get picked up into a drunk driving booze cruise, bro. Like, by this chick that's like, this chick that's like, she's like a race car driver, man. I've never gripped so hard on the holy shit handle in my life, dude. Just like, oh my god. Like, don't like, I'm like, I don't think you should be driving and drinking.
I'm fucking dying.
And like, it's just like, what? Are you a bitch? Like, oh, I'm not a bitch.
Shut up! Shut the fuck up!
Like, I'm not a bitch.
Oh, my stomach! My stomach hurts. She. You're telling me she called you a. Dude, I can't breathe. Oh my god.
So I'm like, okay.
Wait, hold on. She called you a bitch for not drinking her drink.
Yeah.
While driving. That's.
So she's like, okay, more for me. I'm like, okay, wait. Let me just hold on to this story.
More for me.
Now I'm with someone who's like blatantly speeding. She's like stopping on the stop signs, right? And I'm like,
yeah.
And I know she's drinking, right?
I'm drinking while driving, yeah.
Yeah. The thing is, we've been going so fast, like while we're having that conversation, that we weren't anywhere near my house now. We were just like so far away. Like, I literally just got I was sitting in the car, and I'm like in front of my house. I thought we were just going down the street. Now we're like down like past Oak Bay, just super far long walk from my house. I'm like, my friends are at my house. I said I'd be back, and then she's like, okay, well, let's just swing past my other house then. I'm like, well,
how rich is she? Okay.
Like, I'm like, okay, well, like, like it's not too far from here, right? She's like, no, it's just like right down the street. Fucking, now she's pinning it, and she turns onto the highway. No. So I'm like, no. I'm like, where's your other house? Just go Langford. I'm like, no. Like,
no.
You can't be on the highway drinking and driving. Like, I don't hardly know you. It's okay, well, how about you drive? Literally, it's like just sitting there. She grabs the cup off my lap and starts drinking. And she's like, how about you drive? And I'd like grab the steering wheel. I'm like, oh my God, like, what is going on? Dude, like this is nuts, man. Like, oh, okay. You said you don't want me to drive. I'm like, I want you to drive, okay? Just drive safely and I'll help you drive. Okay, so then she grabbed the cup back and she starts driving. And we get there and she's pinning it like 150 down the highway, like
that's fucked.
Like just trying to get like a Dewey or something, man. I don't even understand this. But I asked her, I'm like, aren't you worried at all? Like police are going to come. And she's like, my uncle so and so, blah blah blah, and my dad so and so. If they pull me over, I'll just tell them blah blah blah, and I'll be fine. I've done 1,000 times. I'm like,
oh no.
Yeah, I'm just in this situation because I can't leave this car. Like pull over but she's just gonna slam on the brakes and like let me off the side of the road in the highway.
An hour away from your house, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
Nice.
So the rest of this story, man, it's not the greatest, but it's just basically say get to her house.
Yeah, okay.
I was like, hey, so you want to like watch a movie? I'm like, okay.
I'm, s- I'm supposed to be going home, but okay. Like, sounds good. You kidnapped me. Like, you know what's funny about this story? I love this story. I'm actually dying. You got kidnapped by a little race driver who tells you, drink my roadie, and she's drunk while driving, and she calls you a bitch for not having a drink in the car. Dude, that's actually hysterical. Okay, so now you're watching TV after being kidnapped. Yeah.
Yeah. So watching TV. She's like, oh, you want a drink? I'm making some more. And I'm like, oh, well, like, well, at the time, I was training pretty hard, and I just
Uh-huh.
wasn't drinking, right? Like, it wasn't like, but I was like, all right, I'll have a drink. And then
Oh
she
no,
comes
what'd
over
you
with
do?
some alcohol, just sit down on the
Okay.
table. And she's like, oh, so just a second. Just going to pull up my bed real quick. I'm like, pull out your bed. She, no joke, goes to her bedroom and like,
Uh-huh.
pulls her like bed mattress and stuff out from her like, wood floor, sliding it across the ground, pulls out her bed with her like sheets and blanket on everything, and then like plops it down in front of the TV.
She dragged
Right?
the whole mattress out from the bedroom to the living room.
Yeah.
That's what the fuck? Okay.
Yeah. Well, anyway, yeah, this is where the story gets a little heated. But yeah, it was
A wild night?
no, it was a very, very awkward decision because I had to decide, like, what am I doing here? Like, like, what is this? What is happening to me right now?
Kidnapping, man.
Right? If I'm being
Probably, I would
kidnapped,
say.
am I going like full Stockholm syndrome?
Dude, in that moment, you guys
Right?
are like sitting on her mattress in the living room, and you're like, "Is this the love of my life?" Like, you're like, "Is this it? Like, is she the one?" You're like, "No, she's not the one." Then who is
No,
she?
no. So I'm like, all right, that's really presumptuous. Like, I'm getting
Yeah.
heated. Right? Like, I'm like,
Uh-huh.
you kidnap me, and now like,
Yeah.
just gonna be like sex. So then she's like, oh, okay, well, how about we just have some more drinks? And I'm like, how
Oh
about
no.
you can't drink anymore because you got to drive me home, right? Like,
Yeah,
oh yeah.
yeah, you can, yeah. Yeah.
It's like I'm supposed to be going home, and I don't understand why. Like you don't understand that. So she's like, "Oh well, I won't go without another roadie." So I'm like,
Dude,
"Fuck."
fuck. Bro,
I
come
could
on,
just said,
man.
"No, no, I could drive." I'm like, whatever. I don't even fucking care. Just get me out of here.
You're like, just die drunk. I don't give a shit. I want
Yeah,
out.
I
I don't
just
want
want
to
to
pay for
leave.
tax. Just drive drunk.
I'm like, what the fuck? Like this is just a mess. This is just not it. So anyway, long story short, I end up asking her to drink and drive me home. And she's like, "Why you're not staying the night?" I'm like, "I never said. You said a quick cruise to
Yeah, you
meet
told
and
me
say
2 minute
hi."
cruise and you dragged me to a different city.
Yeah,
No, that's actually the funniest shit. You literally went from one city, the downtown of one city, to a completely another city from a 2 minute cruise
yeah.
with somebody who's drunk behind the wheel. Dude, that's
You
actually
got
so
you
fucking
got you got
funny.
to watch your online dating apps, man. You got to watch out. Girls are something else, man. They're crazy. They'll do crazy things. You just yeah, like what? What do you mean? What do you mean? You
What do you
can't
mean?
do-
You just got kidnapped. Like, what's wrong with that?
You want some
That's
roadies?
me though. That's fucking. Dude, I never want to hear the word fucking roadies ever again in my life.
On
I
the way
honestly thought
back,
roadie
she's like
just.
trying to like pick up. She's like trying to put beers in her like pockets, her like jacket pocket. I'm like, no, like
Dude, I actually hate this. I actually hate this generation. That's one of the funniest stories I've ever heard. But that's one of the ratchet stories I've ever heard too. So, like I said, like, I don't date at all. Like, I'm a single Pringle. I don't date. Dating's not for me. But I know you're, like, dating and you're, like,
dating's for you,
potentially looking to
bud.
settle down.
Why isn't dating for you?
Dude, honestly, my patience is just too low to ever invest a lot of time into people. Secondly, I just don't want a commitment at all. And I think, like, considering, like, I'm 25, I feel like now is when everybody's like, I want to settle down, I want a boyfriend. And it's just, I'm just not on that train at all. So I
That's
just don't
good.
really thought
That's
that way.
good for you now, but at the same time, think about getting ready for it, right? Obviously, you want to be a doctor, you're doing the right thing, you're very career minded. But at the same time, though, because of your youth, you think people care, right? And they do care about the youthful. But when you get older, bro, nobody gives a shit. There's a certain cohesiveness between younger people, right? Where
Yeah, I
like
agree with that.
younger people see each other, they're more likely to talk and bond. When you get older, man, it's just like and you separate out of like your college groups, and then you start really getting like alone, like a lot of alone time.
I honestly thought it's the opposite because like dating and like as
Well,
a you're a young
look at
person, I feel like everybody's fucking toxic.
how many friends does your dad keep around? Does he see in a day?
Zero.
Okay. You think when he was a kid, he hung out with zero friends, bro? He
Yeah,
probably
no,
had
not at
like
all.
his little gang too.
Yeah, dad definitely had a gang. Yeah, for sure.
Right, exactly. So when you get older, it's just how it is. When you get older, you get that space, right? That like naturally evolving like separation happens for a variety of reasons, right?
No, I totally understand that, and you know what? That's fair. I will reflect on it. Because you are dating and potentially looking to settle down and stuff. What's your perspective on dating, like in Victoria? Like, what is it actually like from like a male perspective? Like, how are the dating prospects?
Suboptimal.
Suboptimal. Okay, why do you say that, man?
Really depends on how old you are.
Okay.
So if you're in your 20s and you're not looking to settle down, it's not great. I mean, like, there's only really like one type of girl on this island, like two types, right?
Yeah,
Because
that is actually true. That is true.
they all try to be as similar as possible for some reason. I don't understand what it is, but they all buy the same boots, they all buy the same pants, they all buy the same
Yeah,
stuff, and
I will agree to that. Yeah,
try to
I will
look
agree
the
to that.
same, and then they try and
I
act the same,
100% agree.
right? There's like
I think that might just be like the Victoria as a vibe, no? Like the whole Patagonia and the Blundstones
yeah, that's
and the.
exactly.
I think it's just a Victoria thing, man. I fucking hate it too. Like Victoria, like another reason I don't date is Victoria just not my cup of tea. Like for me, my taste in women is like somebody like the ones that kind of wear dresses and like heels or like designer clothes, a little posh. Like I like women that are posh. Victoria, everybody here just has a very hipstery vibe, and it's just like get away from me.
It's the weirdest thing because it's like it's a hipstery vibe only in aesthetic, not in actually being like
No,
a
not in actual actions. Yeah, aesthetically, most people here are like very hipstery.
yeah.
And I'm being honest, man. Like any girl that owns a pair of Blundstones or like goes hiking, get out. I mean this genuinely. Anybody that's listening to this, okay, if you own a Blundstone, I look down upon you. It's gross. There's
Yep.
better things in the world of fashion than to own Blundstones.
For
And like
like two
people
hundred
that wear
dollars.
Blundstones, nah, fuck that. Doesn't matter. They could be $2,000. Still shit. Okay, dude. I once saw somebody who was wearing this very chic white dress. Like it looked expensive. It was like fitting. It was beautiful. But then she wore Blundstones with it. And the dress ended right above the knees. And I was like, what happened here? You had such a nice thing going. Your hair was perfectly done. Like she literally looked like she stepped off a runway. And then you wore Blundstones. But Victoria, how are I think girls here are very boring. What's your take?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's only one type, really. There's a lot of weird things in this city. Remember, we're also number one for sugar daddies, right?
No. Are we actually?
Oh yeah, for our country.
Compared to Vancouver?
I think so. I think Victoria's like a
The
hotspot.
fuck?
Oh yeah, so
I
I
did
mean,
not know that.
yeah, so like my ex girlfriend, for instance, she used to work at McRae's. So she's just telling me the story about how she's like working at McRae's, and there's like all these older men offering her like trips to the Alps and like going to ski resorts, going on yacht trips, and like offering her just straight up to pay for her tuition and like
What?
just pay her monthly bills just for like hanging out with them. Such a stimpy thing to do, which is really it's just weird, man. It's like they're
Okay.
like older dudes and they're like, oh yeah, just hang out with us and we'll just buy you things. Like, where do you want to go? Oh, choose a restaurant. Oh, well, we'll just pay and then we'll just like take you out and we'll rent like a sweet car and go there and do like spend all this money and stuff. It's just like that's what the attention that you're competing with all the time.
Money
You're
and
like
yeah, okay.
you're like some broke dude, which is fine.
Mm.
Versus like, hey, how about I pick you up in a Ferrari? Why don't we just go skydiving and then we'll go to a restaurant and I'll pay for everything? And there's just like so much of that ballenness here that it's very challenging for a lot of the younger
I've,
men to compete with the attention. Man, just like you're raising these standards for people that they just don't understand isn't a thing that everyone can provide. So there's a lot of girls with
yeah,
just
fair.
expectations for like some like 20-year-old dude. They just don't understand like how hard that money is to get because they're not being just given money all the time, like from family or parents, or given easy jobs that earn a lot of money.
I think it is absolutely accurate that I would say expectations in regards to money, I would say our current generation doesn't fully understand. Because, like, we're also going through this, like, weird time where, like, we have to deal with so much. First of all, increased expenses. You know, the economy has been yikes. Inflation's been crazy during our time. But not even that. I think in our city, Victoria as a general, there's just not a lot of opportunities to enter, like, a great market in terms of career. Like, a job that'll pay you, like, $85,000, $90,000. And, I understand that, like, historically in society, men were kind of supposed to be like the breadwinner, the provider. But I think because nowadays, what we see on social media, such as like, let's say like we'll see like a person like driving a Lambo or something, we think it's like really attainable when it's extremely hard. I think it creates a false narrative of how attainable some things are, or how like easy it is, or how many people actually have those things. That I think there's now a lot of pressure on men as a way to like kind of like make that $1,000,000, or like constantly feel like they have to compete all the time. What's your take on that? Do you feel that? Do you think there is a lot of pressure in terms of because you are constantly in comparison with other men?
That pressure has always been around. What I think the difference is the role of women has changed. So a guy that's 20, a girl that's 20, in a situation where girls are favored for jobs and they're trying to increase the amount of women in various places, she'll get into that place and maybe he won't, or he will, right? Or he will. Yeah. And they both do the same job. She'll look at that guy and be like, and with her expectations about what she wants, she'll be like, why would I date this guy that's just as good as me when there's guys that are better? At the same time, there's also the population of guys that didn't get that job too that are worse, right?
Right.
Who are the guys that are better? Well, it's just this very slim population of like amazing people, right? And then those people, either amazing people or older men. So they're expecting guys their age to have things that older men would have, like fancy cars and et cetera, right? And that's why there's this weird phenomenon right now of like people not being like where there's the good ones at, right? Mistaken connection between what someone has and what they should have, their expectations.
Yeah, I understand. I get that. Yeah, the expectation, I would say, on both sides is kind of pretty high. I would say, like, for men, it's like you have to be the breadwinner, have a good earning, sick house, be fully able to provide for your partner. I think the expectation on women, a lot of men are putting it, which I also don't agree with, is like be conservative, be a housewife, support through take care of the house and stuff, all that jazz, which I think is also unrealistic in a present day and age, in my opinion. So yeah, I think the expectations on both ends kind of ruined it all, and yeah, I totally understand that. I think the phenomenon where it's the successful people that have obviously established themselves for quite a long time, or old money, for example, which Victoria has fuck ton of old money, right? Yeah. I think it is now creating a lot of this hollowness, I would say, in the city in terms of dating, where you have to own nice things, drive nice things, wear nice things to like be seen as stable or like attractive, where a guy that's like starting out, it is not happening. And the same thing goes for women. I think Victoria is also like conservative, and it's kind of like, oh, the girl must have like XYZ figure, or like must have hair like XYZ to be seen attractive. Like that leads me to the question I was going to ask you is like, I think you can agree with me that we currently live in such a hypersexual world, right? Like we got OnlyFans promotion, we got, Instagram girls, we got a lot of sexuality like being seen on television, stuff like that. I feel like all this is causing people to no longer look for emotional connection and look for validness as fast as possible. But I also think like because we live in such a hypersexual world, I think everybody is now thinking sexuality or sex is like the most important thing. Explore that first and then look for like an emotional connection. Like do I vibe with this guy? Does he have attributes to settle down with and stuff like that? What do you feel about that?
I think that for men it's like that.
Like sure. We put sex first and then emotional?
Yeah.
I disagree.
Because for me, what I find is that women love everything up to sex equally as much, if not more, than the sex itself.
Okay, so they enjoy the dating aspect of it.
Yeah, whereas men No, I mean, a lot of us really don't.
I mean, fair. Interesting. See, I feel like a lot of guys are now just like afraid of commitment because I think, like I said, like I think there's certain amount of pressure on guys as in like to like make it about money and stuff. So like they kind of see relationship as, at least in my experience from what the conversation I had is like, they see relationship as like, I gotta spend money or I'll have an extra expenses or I gotta do all these things and I don't want to yet. But I think deep down, dudes want emotional connection more than women. They do want to like settle down. They do want to have a good person, all that jazz. But I think because we live in a hypersexual world, I think most of the dudes are just like, oh, I think I'm supposed to just have sex. And I think we're supposed to just have like friends with benefits and so on and so forth. I think men now more than ever want an emotional connection. But interesting though that you disagree.
Oh, no. I don't disagree with what you said there. I think what we enjoy more. There's a difference between a relationship and dating, right?
Yeah.
So I think we might be talking about two different things.
I'm talking about just emotional connection in general, whether it come from dating or relationship. Like, I think dudes want to go on a date with a chick that's like, holy shit, you're sick. You can hold a conversation. You make me feel nice. You care. You're attentive, all that jazz. Even in a relationship, I think it's the same.
I mean, okay, so you have like a relationship where the ideal goal, right, is to have the relationship, and that is the emotional connection, which is the relationship, right? But that's not what dating is. Dating is the process before you get that, in which you may or may not have sex, right? Right. So yeah, sure. Like getting the relationship, yeah, that's awesome because you're making that emotional connection. But if you were to like go on a date with someone where you don't make an emotional connection, right? You could still have a physical one.
Yeah, fair.
So, and then you can still have like a good date or a bad date based off of whatever, right? So in a way, I agree with you, what you were saying, if we were talking about it in your terms, because yeah, everyone wants that emotional connection. That's the whole point of like going and dating, right? And you're basically saying, so are we hypersexual now where it's all about sex? Well, no, I would say no. No one's hypersexual where it's all about sex. But I would say there's people out there that are horny as fuck.
Yeah, I mean, fair. Yeah. All right. That's fair.
I don't think it's necessarily bad, other than, you know, what the expectations are. Again, it's setting people set false expectations. And if you're going around and being like, oh, I slept with like 1 billion people and this is awesome, but they're not. And then that just makes other people feel shittier about not having sex.
Yeah, I agree to that. But switching on to a different topic, because I gotta have your opinion on this. What's your opinion on situationships, bro? Me and my friend Terry got into it.
Yeah.
He had a pretty strong stance. What's your take?
Bro, yeah, I think your friend's a simp.
That's not in the question I asked. Homie just shot. Homie just fired shots. I love him. I'm like, yo, what's your friend situationships? Homie's a simp.
No, because you brought up that episode. I just remember it. I just remember thinking that when I heard his view on that. It's like situationship happens. First off, I think they're always for a period of time. They're short-lived, right?
Situationships short-lived? Okay.
I think they're very tricky unless both people are super not into each other, right? But generally, there's one person that's not into the other person, and then that other person's just in for an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yeah, 100%. It's always one person who is afraid of committing to the other person. I see it as like just keeping your values open and like never really committing. But my thing is, yeah, one person's always into the other person more.
Well, if I were to give advice, never be on the other side. That's just that's a black hole, and it will never go your way. Don't put yourself there. You really have to choose not to. And I think that's one of the things that our generation has to struggle with the most is understanding the true, like, the nature of men and women, and that we can't really just be friends all the time. Now, let me talk about what I mean by that. Meet someone at work, and there's a reason. Right. There's an actual like reason why you are stuck in a building with this person. Yeah, you can create a friendship to get through that period of time where you must interact and etc. Right? Like, sure. And if something spawns from that, it's more likely to be legitimate than if something spawns from meeting at a bar, or like mutual friends.
Okay. All right. So you're saying that friendships with opposite sexes work better when you're forced to hang out, such as like in a workplace.
Yeah, because then there's at least a reason for it.
So, okay, so does that mean that you're indirectly saying that men and women can't be friends? Because that was going to be the next question I was going to ask you. It's like, just let's say, like, you're meet a girl at a fucking bar. Let's just call her,
Well,
like, let's just say
well,
Irish
no, no.
Thomas.
I just said they could be, right? Like my answer
They-
was they definitely can be, okay, in certain
Uh-huh.
situations. I laid out the
Which is
situation.
like,
Outside of those situations, I think it's very, very difficult because there has to be a reason for it. And your friend, and we'll get back to him,
my
fine
friend
guy,
Terry, yeah, okay, let's get back
fine
to it,
guy,
yeah.
might be a
Yeah.
little bit of a simp.
Yeah, fair.
Making a friend because you
Uh-huh.
find someone sexually attractive,
Yeah, that's doomed.
yeah, that's not the way you want to
That's
do things. You're like, hey, can I hop in your friend zone? Or like, I just
yeah.
like,
No, I agree with that. I totally agree with that. Yeah. I
like,
think, see, like, my thing is, I firmly believe that men and women can be friends. And, like, I understand your thing, you're like, there has to be a reason for it, such as, like, a workplace or something. Totally. I take it one step further. I think just men and women in general can be friends. Like, you can, like, for example, like me, like, I have female friends, and, like, that is literally because I was like, oh shit, like, I don't have any girlfriends. I'm fucking surrounded by dudes most of the time. And this was, like, at a time where, like, every guy friend of mine was having guy problems. I'm like, gonna fuck off. And I would say men and women can be friends, but it's only under two certainties, in my opinion. One, you can't be sexually attracted to the other. It might start off with like, no, you're my bestie. Eventually you're gonna be like, holy shit, bestie, I wanna see you naked, right? And it's not, it's just, that's doomed. And the second thing I would say is that you can never intentionally try to be platonic. Platonic doesn't exist. It is proven psychologically that you are friends with people you think are attractive. Not necessarily attractive to you, but you just think that they're good looking and attractive. And if you're trying to be platonic, I think you're fucking doomed. Because if you believe that you're platonic, it should just be fucking natural. It's the moment you put effort in making or seeing somebody as a friend is when it's doomed.
yeah,
And
I
I think
mean,
most dudes are fucking it up. Most dudes are like intentionally fucking putting effort in seeing a girl as a friend. It's like, dude, if you just see her as a friend, you're gonna see her as a friend naturally. It creates this slight thought in your mind. You're like, she's supposed to be a friend, right? She's a friend. It's like now you're just opening a slight door to there's something more. And don't be fucking friends with girls that you want to see naked. You don't need that heat in
no.
your life. But no, you don't. And I think, going back to my friend Terry, I love the guy. And I think sometimes,
I
like, in
mean,
order to grow as a person,
you can be friends with them, but don't make that like don't seek that out because in the end that is manipulative in a way, right? Like if you're going
is
out
it?
there thinking they're attractive, like
Oh, no, that's fuck. Yeah, no, no. That's manipulative. You're
you
like, oh, I
have
think they're
to,
attractive. I'm a friend. Eventually I'll get in. Yeah, no, that's fucked.
yeah. That's
100%. Yeah, you shouldn't be friends because you think they're attractive. But going back to my friend Terry here, I think he's just on a journey of like understanding himself more. I'm glad. I think everybody once in a while needs to get their heart broken for a quick reality check, and I think his came in a rejection where he saw like, he needs to have some self-respect and like hold himself to a higher standards. And you know what? By God, he's doing that, and I'm happy for him. But yeah, moral of the story: don't be friends with people you're attracted to. Don't do it.
you can be
Go ahead.
friends with someone who you find attractive,
Yeah,
but it's not you're not friends with them for that reason, is it?
for
You're
that
friends
reason. Yeah,
you're friends with them because you both went to the same book club and blah
yeah.
blah 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 and they talk about books or whatever, right? Like then it's and you enjoy hearing them talk about books. Even then, if you're finding them attractive, then you still have to question that, right?
Honestly, whoever's listening, if you're having like a struggle in a dating world as a dude, or you're having difficulty understanding women, this might be controversial, but I firmly believe every dude needs a female friend at least once. You just need it. There's so much of the feminine world and the feminine perspective that dudes are just fucking blind to. It's
Oh
insane.
yeah.
I learned so much. I have grown so much literally because of my girlfriends. Genuinely. And I don't mean the friends that I dated. Like, I didn't date anybody. Like, truly. I think every dude at some point needs to be able to be around women in a completely non-sexual realm. Completely. And I would say most dudes just can't fucking do it.
Oh,
And
they
it's just,
can.
it's
They
too
just have
insane.
to be around a girl that they don't find sexually attractive.
Even then, I think if you can't be around a girl you think is attractive without it becoming sexual, I think that's fucking doomed too. Most people missing the mark, man. But I just want to say, man, thank you very much for being on the podcast. Okay.
No
I
worries.
appreciate it. I had a great time. I honestly haven't laughed this hard in a fucking minute. And that was all because of your story. That's a gem of a story. I think that's your go-to story of till death, man. I think your
I
life peaked.
I have a lot of stories, man, and then they're still coming.
Dude, another episode down the future.
I guarantee
Story
you.
time with Sun.
Guarantee
I
you.
would love to hear them. Thanks very much, man. Is there anything you want to say?
Don't simp. Just in
Don't
general.
simp, okay.
Don't simp.
just in general. Okay,
Can I throw that
fair.
out there again? Just because, like, the more other people simp, the harder it is out here for yourself. You simp, other people simp harder. It's just a reinforced positive cycle of making it harder for men dating. No matter what type of relationship you're trying to get into, make sure it's reciprocative. Don't entertain people that use you.
Wow, man. A lot of wise words. You know,
Yeah.
you've come a long way since your kidnapping. You clearly have grown since the kidnapping.
You'd be
Wise word,
surprised. There's a lot of craziness in this city, man.
Thank you so much for being on the podcast. I appreciate you. Hopefully next time I have you on there, we'll hear some more wild stories, because that was top 3 greatest stories I've ever heard in my life.
Oh man, I
Much
can
love.
tell you. Yeah, I can tell you some good stories. I have some good ones.
I'm down, man. All right, I'm peacing out.
Good time.
It's been your boy Nav. Hasta la vista, people. I hope you enjoyed listening to this episode. Toodles.